Good morning, Power Hitters. Today is April 20th, 4/20, 2021. My name is Jarrett McAllister, mentor and co-host alongside Jonathan Bernasso. What's up, Bernasso?
Aloha. Good morning.
Is that dream coming to an end out there?
It is. We get to work virtually here, right? So a couple of weeks in Hawaii, enjoying it. Yep.
Not bad. You're flying back to the mainland where you're going to be crushing some in-person meetups down in SoCal with Mr. Bonilla, Mr. Rangel.
Absolutely. Yeah. More in-person events coming, California tour coming. Stay tuned, guys. A lot of exciting stuff here.
Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're going to kick this meeting off as we do always with some success stories. And then we have some special guests here. Jennifer Brantley and Brendan Schultz from the ops team going to come by and train us on some high level back-end operations. So with that being said, let's get this party started. Let's talk about some recent success stories. So let's talk about sale, recruits, leads, follow-ups, anything anyone would like to share. Luis, did you have something for us?
Yeah, I'll share.
Right on.
Over the weekend, we helped the family actually add a second system. So the previous company that they went with didn't size the system properly. So we were able to go in there and add an additional 12 panels. So it's like a 4-point-something kilowatt system. So we're able to help that family out. And yesterday as well, we were able to close another deal here in Norwalk, California. Helped another family out, so we're very excited. You know, we're getting to help a lot of families. And shout out to Jonathan Brunasso for assisting in some of those deals. So really appreciate all the help.
Right on, man. Great job, brother. Great job.
Nice, Louis. Any advice on how you guys got those leads? Was it an ambassador? Was it a family and friend? Or
the one from yesterday, it was a referral from a family and friend. They haven't gotten their system installed with us yet, but they're already referring. So it is an ambassador. And then the one we closed out it was a mentor deal. And that Mr. David, I don't know if David is here, David Perez, it was actually his deal. But I was able to mentor it, and he actually got it knocking doors. So like Mr. JC says, working works, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And real quick, Louis, if you don't mind me asking, because you did mention that it was a system on top of another system, and we do have some reps that are new and might not understand how that works. Was there any objections that you had to overcome to make that happen, or what was the biggest hurdle there?
No, actually, I think honestly, the customer just wanted additional. They wanted to offset their usage a little bit more. So the customer was actually looking to add more panels. Because it wasn't their system that they have, it wasn't enough. So they were paying, I think just on Edison was almost $200 just on electric bill. Yeah, plus like $100 of the panels. So we're able to get them around like a $90 payment with us, save them those $200, and now they just have both systems running, or they will have both systems running, and save themselves a lot of money.
Awesome work, Louis. Anybody else have a success story they'd like to share? Recent win, sale, recruit, lead, presentation. Jump off mute and go ahead and share.
I was just curious if the homeowner has to have their system a certain amount of time before we can add on to it.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Pretty much add on.
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna mute you.
Right. Come on, we got 43 reps on here. I'm sure there's some more success. Don't be shy. Hop on off.
Just wanted to give a shout out to a new consultant on my team, Mr. Roger Herde. He's out of Southwest Ranches, Broward County. He owns a duct cleaning and AC business with over 10,000 customers since '92. We met at a home show. I've been following up with him for 5 years. He will be selling a 24 kW to himself.
Woo. Excellent. Nice. Great job, Danny.
Thank you.
That just goes to show follow-up, persistence and follow-up, right? It may take 5 years, but don't stop.
I have a success story actually for Joe Medina. He's not on the call. He couldn't make it, but he closed his first deal yesterday. And it was a 9,500 commission that he'll be splitting with the mentor.
Excellent.
Wow, Anthony. Nice.
First payday, huh?
Anthony, that's one of your recruits, right? You helped bring him into Powur?
Yeah, Isela brought Joe Medina on.
Okay. And they're splitting almost 10 grand commission on his first deal. That's awesome.
I'll share
Right.
one real quick.
Yes, Ralph.
So yesterday, Wally Arita and I had an appointment with a couple. They are real estate agents. And long story short, their roof is 42 years old, but they still want the solar system. And at first they were kind of balking and kind of backpedaling, but once we got to it, but here's the kicker. When we got towards the end of the presentation, Wally mentioned to them about the ambassador program, and my client stopped him right there and says, you know, I really like everything you guys have said, but when you just mentioned this referral program, to me, this is the best part of the presentation. So I thought that was great. Anyway, so out of that, looks like we're working on 2 referrals from them. They just sold a couple of homes to their clients. So there may be 2 more referrals there. They want their son to go out and door knock and be an ambassador himself. So it just kind of snowballed just from that one appointment. So that was pretty cool.
Woo! Good job, Ralph. Awesome stuff, my friend. And yeah, guys, we have a lot to learn from Wally. I think he needs to be a guest speaker on here, teaching us how to get more referrals, because he really incorporates in his presentation the ambassador program, and then he coaches his customers what to say to get referrals.
Exactly.
He's next level. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Well, it's 10 minutes in here. Let's go ahead and move things along. Jarrett, thank you, my friend.
Of course.
Appreciate you. Always helping out, bringing the energy this morning. So next up, guys. Oh, yes. And all the lovely faces and the mentors. This is an old slide. I think I need to add Lewis and some other people here, but there's over 23, 24 mentors on the team. If you're really serious about this business, get to mentor status, sell deals, build a team, earn passively, help close mentor deals, and earn some stock options. So such a unique platform that we have here.
When you update the new slide, can we get JC to smile?
I don't know. He's pretty serious. He's always
hardcore, man.
Yeah, All right. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about some high-level operations. We have 2 amazing guests here today. They've helped all of us so much, including myself. Going to go over a little bit of operations, post-sales, communication tips, what to be mindful of for adders. I know they've been a little bit all over the place for some of us recently, and who to contact if we do have questions, and some general timelines. So with that, I would love to introduce Brenton Schultz, Jennifer Brantley. If you guys could introduce yourselves, your team, and a little bit about you, I would love that.
Well, I'm Brenton Schultz. I'm one of the Western operations managers. I handle Western 2 division. So if it's under the Western 2 team, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Text, email, ticket, doesn't matter. I'd probably say the best thing, shoot me a call. I missed your call. Shoot me a text. I'm on the phone all the time. So shoot me a text. I'll respond back as quickly as possible and follow up with a phone call if needed. Anyways, like I said, Western 2. If you need anything, I'm mostly part of California with Jennifer Brantley and some Nevada, like the Reno area for the Nevada team, but she handles mostly the Las Vegas side of Nevada. But hand it off to Jennifer.
Yes, hi. Jennifer Brantley here. As he said, I cover about half of California, mostly northern central California with some SoCal, and then the Arizona, Nevada territory. I've been in solar for going on 16 years in operations, tons of experience, obviously. I'm excited to be here at Powur. I've been here since October and seen so many changes just in that short period of time. So same as Brenton said, I mean, if you guys need anything, text is usually the quickest response because we are, as you guys are probably always on the phone. So if you need anything in that area, text me.
Very cool. And just so maybe I can have some context, especially for some new people, Brenton and Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, they are operations managers. So they oversee multiple project managers that all help us out, right? Like the Karens, the Matthews, the Michaels.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so for my team for Western One, and I know it's hard because there's no like strict like delineation of California. We're working on that, Brenton and I, to split. So there is a clear line of like, central up would be me and everything below would be Brenton. Currently that doesn't exist, but for Western One's team, for me is Michael Morrison, Matt White, Lonnie Ariellano, I can't even say her last name, and Lauren Nemitz.
Yeah, and my team is Karen Smythe, Berta Campbell, Justin. To be honest, I don't know Justin's last name. I'd have to look it up. And Sherry, and I'm going to totally butcher her last name, so I'm not even going to go there. But anyways, if you guys have any questions on who to contact, just always refer on powur.com. If you go to your project summary page, scroll down, you'll see the project manager's name, which will also have their contact and email, obviously send them a ticket if need be. And then to the right of that has the operations manager. So if you don't know if it's Jennifer or myself, it'll have our contact info there on the right as well. So powur.com, summary, and then scroll down.
Hey, what's up with it? Yeah, I'm on.
sorry. Okay, great. Thank you. And then guys, just a question. I believe I heard there's a new operations director possibly coming on soon, but Dean and Nick are technically also the COO as well, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to introduce our new director, I think later this week or early next week. So we'll have a new Evan here shortly. But for now, yeah, Nick is handling all of that.
Fantastic. All right. I'll move the slides along, guys, whoever wants to take this one.
It's Brenton.
All right, so general timeline overview, everything varies a little bit. Signed contract, as soon as we have the signed contract and we have the correct documents, those get submitted to an installer, get assigned to an installer right away. Try to get those assigned, we're pretty on top of getting those assigned as quickly as possible. As soon as it's submitted to the installer, they receive everything. We try to have a site survey at least scheduled within the first 24 hours to 3 days from it being assigned. If there's any issues there, contact your PM, contact me. We'll get things rolling, but it should be pretty quick at that stage. Our goal after site survey is obviously to get the design done as quick as possible, so that way we can get it off to the homeowner and you guys for final approval. So 7 days for that design layout and getting that approval, and then it's off to permitting from there. All depends on the AHJ. Best case scenario, 2 weeks, could go up to 8 weeks. It really just depends on the AHJ. If there's corrections, most of our installers are pretty good, but occasionally there are corrections that need to be made. It happens, and then those got to be resubmitted. Installation and scheduling, after we have a permit in hand, we do everything in compliance. We don't do anything out of compliance. There are a lot of contractors out there that as soon as the design's made, they're out there installing, getting glass on the roof. So yeah, to a homeowner, to a sales rep, that's great. They're getting stuff done quick. But the problem with that is they're out of compliance. If there's an issue, a correction, something happens, it's not a good thing. So we work within compliance. So that's number one. So once we get that, we're scheduling right away. the goal with getting install and permit is 45 days, but that's a goal. So we try to be realistic. Everything's just contingent on the HJ.
Yes,
And then
I see
obviously,
it, Brent, and I'm going to hop in. I see a lot of people asking what HJ is, and we forget, we know the terminology, but they may not. So I saw Jonathan put that in there. It's authority having jurisdiction, but it's the building department where we get the permit.
correct. Yep. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, and then HOAs. So HOAs, like I said, we do everything within compliance. That's permit and HOA. So, as long as the HOA has all their approvals and whatnot, we're off to install. Sorry about that. Inspections, goal is 7 days after install, hopefully sooner. Then we're off after a finalized inspection has passed. We're off to PTO. Typically, it's about 14 days after final inspection. Should have permission to operate, and then off to the closeout. So our PM team, they will be doing the welcome calls. When a project is assigned, they'll be doing the welcome call, introducing themselves, giving their contact information, just going over everything, all the basics right there in the beginning. And then at the end, the same thing, letting them know that they got their PTOs, they're good to go, just going over monitoring with them. But then we actually have an actual closeout team that does the final process where they send the homeowner all their information, all their documents, and they actually do an official closeout. That's a completely different department outside of ops, but like I said, the PM will ensure that they make sure it's a smooth transition and that communication is bridged on what is going on and that the PTO has been completed. Any questions? I know that was kind of fast.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey Brent, I had a question. You mentioned welcome call. Is that going to be right after the customer signs the agreement, or a few days right after?
So as soon as the project is assigned, after the contract is signed, as soon as the project is assigned to a contractor, the PM will be reaching out immediately. Within 12 to 48 hours, I'm on my team to be quick about at least making that first point of contact, to at least introduce themselves, to go over the contract with them if need be, and obviously handing off their contact information. So that's immediate after the project's been assigned to an installer, and then there'll be another call to make sure that the site survey is scheduled.
Got it. Thank you.
For the site survey, guys, the installer is the one reaching out to the homeowner, not the project manager, right? And then it's usually 1 to 3 business days after it's submitted to the installer?
Correct. And communication can go both ways. I honestly like a little bit of over communication, just so that way everybody's on the same page. It's still a Powur customer at the end of the day. So I still like our PMs to call and reach out. Obviously I don't mind our installers having direct communication as well. Like I said, I'd prefer over communication than a lack of communication. So the installer may reach out to schedule it. It just really depends. If the installer's having a hard time reaching the homeowner, we're there to assist them to be that bridge communication as well. So over communication is, like I said, preferred in my opinion over a lack of communication.
Right. Okay, good. And Solar Lily is just asking who submits for interconnection or PTO. She's been having some delays in that area.
That would be the installer.
Okay.
And if you have any issues with anything like that, please reach out to your PM. Send them a ticket on powur.com. Allow them, 24 to 48 hours. The team's really good about honestly trying to make it within a lot shorter time frame than that. But if it's urgent, give them a call, give me a call. I don't mind helping out to, be that communication if it's something urgent, but please just submit a ticket and we'll get on top of that installer if there's any issues.
One question to me is, when can the site surveys actually happen? So like, are our installers usually 2 days out? Are they 7 days out? I know it depends installer to installer. I've seen pretty quick times being scheduled. Any estimate as how far our bookings are being put out for site surveys?
as long as there's no special requests from the homeowner and it's, obviously not a project that's a super far travel, that's kind of like in a rural area that we don't really go to. Like your typical install, I'd probably say, we're scheduling within 3 days. I don't see it going past a week. I would say we're there within three days on average.
Yeah. Okay.
What would you say, Jennifer? What are you
Yeah,
seeing on
I
your team?
agree. I agree. Seems most of the installers hop on the site surveys pretty quickly unless it is, like you said, like in an area that they don't travel regularly, that they can't squeeze in really fast.
Okay. I'll keep this moving along, guys. We could do some Q&A at the end. But I just want to add one thing here. It's a great opportunity to say, hey, not only am I helping this project move forward, but also a project manager will be reaching out and communicating with you in addition to myself. Any questions, we both can assist you. We're both here to help. So use that as a strategic advantage. Not a lot of companies and sales orgs have such a close project manager with the project. So moving on.
Okay, so who to contact? So Brenton touched on this earlier, but the first primary way to reach out on a project is through tickets. So place a ticket in Powur.com. Please give the PMs 24 to 48 hours to respond. If they are not responding, feel free to text or call them. If you're still, or email as well. If you're still not getting a response, then please escalate to Brenton or I. If it is an urgent matter, I always recommend putting the ticket in either way so we can track the communication, the questions, the issues, but then definitely reach out to the PM, by text or call, whatever you feel you'll get a quicker response if it's urgent. If it's not something you need a response right that second, put the ticket in and give them that time to get back to you. I just request that we please don't put a ticket and then send a text and then send an email and then escalate to the OM all at the same time. Give them a chance to research, or they may be working on other projects and get back to you. But Powur Tickets is going to be your best start. And then, like I said, if you're not getting responses, please bring it to Brenton or I to help address.
Awesome. Yeah. And we just don't want to be mindful of these, this guys and this team, the gals and the guys that help this team and operation. So let's not overload them. Let's not text, call, email, ticket, ops, PM, because the response times have been great. A huge thank you from what we've done since last year. And so let's be mindful of that system that's in place for them.
Also, to mention too, is check your milestones in Powur and see if you can get your answer there first, because this team is definitely putting a lot more detailed notes in. So you may get your answer just by reading through the milestone notes on what's going on with the project, and may not necessarily have to reach out, but by all means, if you need to do so, but always check there first too.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to adders.
All right, so adders, I know there's been a lot going on with adders lately. Please just double check going through your solo adders, what could apply and what might be necessary. For example, I think one thing that comes up, I think for Jennifer's team and my team as well, is the multiple array adder. We try to design projects as closely as possible to the solo design that you guys create. So if you guys created a project that's got 6+ arrays on it, and there's no additional adder for additional mounting planes, that's a red light right there that should probably be looking at adding those adders in there. Let's see here. Work with your mentor if you have any questions in regards to that. Talk to pre-sales if needed, or just reach out to the PM if it's something that's already been assigned. Reach out to the PM for some quick advice. Feel free to reach out to me. I don't mind helping out. SOPs around adders. Standard adders may apply pending what is found on the site survey. There's always things coming up, MPUs, I'm sure you guys are aware. Some one-off adders may require an actual quote. You know, we have set pricing for all these things, but there's certain things that are just things that we can't have a set price in for, like roof work, bringing things up to code. When should we be notified about adders? So you should be notified, just reading the comment that was, you guys should be notified about adders after we get a cost sheet from the installer, and that's going to go over any additional adders that are found at site survey. At that point, the PM is going to reach out to you in tickets, and they're going to send you a ticket message saying this is what was found at site survey. This project, for example, is going to require a sub panel, or it's going to require an NPU. At that point, they're going to give you the cost and let you know how you'd like to proceed, whether it's you'd like to do a change order or, you know, have it come out of your margin. And then we'll go from there depending on how you would like to proceed with your project and with your homeowner.
And the multiple arrays, Brenton and Jen, is like, we've been having a little struggle on that. Sometimes we see it, sometimes we don't. If there's 3, 4, 5 planes, all of a sudden it can be $2,000 on some installers, but the price per watt in the proposal is like 10 to 15 cents, I believe. So is there anything we should be looking out for? Because you know, if we don't want to add a $500 adder and then it comes back at 2,000. So anything around multiple arrays at all you can help with?
I think so yes and no. I guess putting the adder in there in general is the first step. We understand some pricing may be different, but just, I guess, knowing that the executive team, the business development team is working on more standardized pricing across the board for what you guys can charge as to go along with what the installers are charging. So we don't have a clear-cut answer for you right now, but we know it's something that we're working on. So it's more clear to sales.
I've heard the new Powur OS and the onboarding process is helping resolve this kind of confusion. It's just putting a blanket on the pricing that can be charged for certain things. Is that?
Yeah, that's part of Powur OS is just making it the process run a little smoother, a little more transparent to the installer on if they're missing steps or they're delayed. But it's also part of that pricing negotiation. It kind of is all encompassed.
Gotcha. Yeah, so guys, it's just really important to add the concrete tile adder, the multiple array adder. If you want an attic run, MPUs, thank you, Lily, is now $2,200. And there's usually $300 for stucco and paint. So be mindful that MPUs now are $2,500 if you don't want to be caught off guard. And Lily's asking, she sees a stucco adder now as a separate adder. Isn't that supposed to be included in MPU pricing? Any advice on that? I think I've been seeing it as a separate charge lately.
Yeah, it's separate because there's not always stucco work needed. So, I mean, if it's not a stucco facade on the house, there's not going to be a stucco adder needed. So
Right.
They have to break it out.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you have to break the stucco to go in wall versus just purely external. So that is extra work, stucco and paint.
Yeah.
And then Lewis, the $500 permit adder. Yeah, right now some of the installers do have extra adder for permitting costs if it's higher than normal. And the one thing I like to point out here is that the base price in California is $1.15, but a lot of installers are between $1 and $1.10 when you look at your commission sheet. So just be mindful that there is a little bit of a buffer already in your cost sheets. I know we don't love to look at it like that. We'd rather know the adders up front, but just know that there's a little buffer in there already to help catch some of these things. And let's just make sure we're adding every single adder into the proposal that we can. Okay, cool. And I think some of the team, just the multiple array adders caught us off guard, a little varying pricing. And then, you know, it's a week before install and then we just found out about this adder. So just the constructive feedback there, that obviously the earlier we know, the better, and we need to do better at adding it up front and buffering our margin as well.
Yeah, I think I know that for my team, and I mean, I feel like I can speak for Brenton's team. We're really pushing on the installers to get us accurate cost sheets right after site survey, so we can have those conversations with you guys. And I know for my team, we are not allowing what we call late stage adders. So if something comes up at install that should have and could have been found at site survey, but they didn't put it on the site survey cost sheet. So for example, if an installer at install says, oh, here's a multiple array adder, and they didn't put it on their initial cost sheet at site survey, but no design change, they can't now charge us for it later, because it's not fair for us to come back to you and say, oh, here's this extra adder that we knew existed at site survey, but the installer just didn't tell us about it. So if it can be found at site survey, we're not letting them put it on later. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Some costs you can't, like some things you can't find out until you're out there, and it could pop up. But if it's something that at site survey should have and could have been charged for, we're not letting them put it on at install.
Good.
You shouldn't see those late stage high increases in your adders after install.
And I mean, this is solar, guys, right? If the design changes at install, or the roof, they've determined a certain area was really crappy, they might pull off. They might have to rechange the design. They might have to redo the permit, and then they have to redo the inspection. So like, you know, the solar coaster, they call it that for a reason. Stuff will always happen, and it's just communication and setting the right expectations. And just be mindful that the project manager and even these operations managers here, they have to work with an installer who doesn't always give them the exact dollar or communicate when we want to, right? So it's not their fault. They have to work with our install teams to help give us updates. Let's
Yeah, I just wanted to
go ahead.
I wanted to hit on a couple of comments in here, so that way we didn't leave these guys hanging. Travel ladders. Now that we have more installers, no travel ladder for San Diego. I'd say the only ones that I'm having, and Jennifer, correct me, you know, or let me know how you feel, but as far as travel ladders go, nothing in San Diego. The only ones that I have issues with in California as far as travel ladders go would be like the Mammoth, Lakes, Bishop area. You know, we don't have any coverage on that side of the mountain range, and anybody that's going to install there has to go down and around or up and around the mountain to get over to the Mammoth area. So it is quite a hike for most installers to go to, and most installers honestly reject jobs there. So the Mammoth area, I'd say, is one area that's been an issue for travel ladders. And then Jennifer, what do you think about? I think the only other area that I've seen recently as far as travel ladders would be like somewhere up and down the coastline around Pismo Beach.
Yeah, anything really
Sounds-
north, like Eureka, you know, up going towards the Oregon border is going to need one. Central Coast is potential. And then like California, Arizona border, Nevada border might need some. And then in Nevada as well, we only really have one installer. And we have two. One is in Reno, and we have one in Las Vegas. And so anything kind of outside of those areas are likely going to need travel letters, or could potentially not have coverage at all.
Yeah, I've had a couple issues in Nevada for the northeast side of Nevada. We really don't have coverage there. Was lucky to have an installer do one for a travel ladder, and the other ones we just didn't have anybody to cover the area there. So northeast side of Nevada is difficult.
And that we have a new department that it's called the ISS team, Installer Success Specialist. I had to think about that for a second. Yeah. And they're putting together coverage maps for each installer. So we as ops know what their territory is, but they are then also going to make that more of a general map for you guys. So you'll see what our coverage territories are just in general. You won't necessarily know what installer goes there, but you'll know where we have an installer where there's no travel adder. So that way you'll see outside of that would be an area you would need to include for travel.
Jennifer or Brenton, either one of you guys can take this question. How are you guys grading these installers? Is it more on timeline, communication, or a little bit of everything?
It's everything. The timeline is definitely a big part, but for me, it's how well they follow the process and how well they communicate with us and the customers. How quick they work is not always the best answer, because we have a few installers that do move really fast, but they also skip a lot of steps and move through the process. And you know, they're not getting us cost sheets timely, but they're out to site survey same day, but then they're taking 2 weeks to get us the cost sheet. And that's how we tell you, you know, what adders are included. So we definitely grade them on all of those aspects.
Yeah, Power OS is going to be grading the installers on several different things. So timelines, honesty, quality, everything. So that's the nice thing about Power OS that's coming into play. They're going to get overall graded, and that's going to determine, you know, how these guys get assigned their projects, how many projects they get. So the better they do, and obviously their capacity, they're going to get assigned. The better installers are going to get assigned more projects ultimately.
Yep. All right, should we keep it moving to the SGIP? And for those of you who don't know, this is self-generating incentive program for batteries. Did I get that? I don't know.
That's right. All right, so the SGIP. So as a blanket statement, currently the SGIP is not applied for every battery project. When I originally came on, was told if a sales rep or a homeowner reaches out to you and they want the SGIP rebate, which is in California only, then you can apply for it. I don't know if now that we have additional resources in-house, if that's going to change to all battery jobs, but this is how it's currently done. So if you have a customer that wants the SGIP rebate, then you need to let me know as soon as you know. I'm the one currently that processes all the applications. This will be passed to what is currently our closeout team, but is going to turn into our interconnections team. They will handle these rebates, but for now I do. So if you have a customer who's getting a battery in California that wants to apply for the SGIP rebate, you can put a ticket in, notify your PM who will notify me, or you can shoot me an email and notify me of the customer. How long does it take? So it varies by utility. PG&E and PG&E and, sorry, I have to look. SCE is the fastest. PG&E and SDG&E are the slowest. I can see, so there's 2 steps for the SGIP. So the first step is to apply for the reservation, and that's just reserving the funds. That's just you're submitting an application with a contract and some other documentations saying, hey, we qualify for this and we want to hold these funds for us. And you get that initial approval. That I've seen take 2 weeks, and I've seen it take 4 months. So it depends on the utility. It depends on how much back and forth there is with corrections or additional requests. After the reservation is approved, then you submit for the incentive, and that's to actually get the money sent to the homeowner. That timeline is the same. I would say 2 weeks. Well, I'd say probably a month to 4 months. This can't happen until the homeowner has PTO. So if we apply and we get a reservation approved right away, but the job's not installed, we can't apply for the incentive claim until the customer has PTO on the battery specifically. So I know sometimes you might get PTO on the solar and then the battery later. So it has to be the PTO on the battery. Current statuses. So all utilities are open right now. They're all in step 6. But PG&E is only accepting applications for high fire threat areas. The only way to know that is to input the homeowner's address into the fire map. If you want to know if your homeowner qualifies and they're in PG&E, you can just let me know who they are and I can look it up and let you know. We can always apply for it anyways. There's no fees, there's no requirements. Customer has to sign a document, the reservation form. So we could apply for it, but they'll probably get denied, but then you can just reapply later. But all other utilities are open and in step 6. Step 6 currently is 20 cents a watt hour. I've only done LG batteries for Powur so far. So that rebate is roughly $1,600. It's dependent on the amount of power that the battery is discharging, not the size of the system. It's what is being discharged from the battery. And then when does it get paid? Again, like I said, that's after we file for the incentive claim. The homeowner has to fill out some more documentation that we submit, and then they have to have an inspection done through the utility in the SCHIP program, and then the rebate gets paid directly to the homeowner.
Cool.
It is a very long process, but the homeowner is aware of everything along the whole step of the way. So when I input their information into the system, they will get all the same emails that I get. So if there's corrections or approvals or declines, they get all that. So if they're wanting the statuses, they can obviously reach out to me. I'm also putting it in PM notes, so you'd be able to see where it currently sits through Powur versus via the notes that are in there. But they will get all those same emails that I get through the program.
Any word on, I think I saw a video about step 7, possibly 15 cents a watt hour, maybe by next year we'll be stepping into that. Does that sound right?
I've heard for PG&E, yes, that they're talking about opening that step up for all applicants coming up soon in the next few months, but PG&E's funds eat up like that. Like same day they open.
Wow.
So I do not ever guarantee any homeowner that they will get the rebate. We just recently had an SDG and E1 get declined. So it's not a guarantee.
Okay. Yeah. And that's exactly how I sell it, guys. When I sell a battery, it's not a guarantee. We'll help you apply for it if the funds are available, if you're in an area that qualifies. This is a great example. It could be around $1,600 rebate incentive. That's why our proposal tool does not show it, because it's not guaranteed. But thank you for helping us out and getting these applied for, Jennifer.
Yep.
We had one question. Would you also help with SRP batteries in Arizona rebates, or does the homeowner need to qualify directly with SRP? I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about SRP battery rebates. We could potentially, I would say, ask your PM about it, and they can potentially reach out to the installer just for more information, see if they know, but I do not have any experience with SRP or battery rebates. I'm only versed in SCHIP.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll wind it down here and then just do a final Q&A. So moving forward, things that we can do better. I think you guys have covered some of this already.
Yeah, I mean, we would just say the same rules apply. We would like the same rules to apply to you as you would like to us. So if, our PMs or us or finance or anybody is putting a ticket in to the sales rep, we hope a 24 to 48 hour response time as well. Something that I find very helpful is if you have any, I kind of went backwards on this, but if you have any details on the project, to put it in the additional notes section of the project in powur.com. I know a lot of times that's used for the design, but put it in there as well. Anything that could be beneficial for the PM or the installer to know. I've instructed my team to look there for info. And since you don't know who's going to get the job, what PM is or what installer is, you can't directly message them yet. That's a good place to put that initial, pertinent information on a project. Things to help you sell a clean job, do all the trainings you can. Powur University, Solar Edge, the new Enphase sales training is extensive, but very important and vital for the Enphase batteries. Same thing with LG. Lean into your mentors. And then as far as the NEM goes, a common thing that we see is not having a full utility bill, which will delay the PTO process. So we've seen a lot where there's like just like usage history or screenshots of like a partial bill. Please try and get a full, all pages of a utility bill, because there's pertinent info on different pages that is needed for interconnection, depending on the utility. So that would really help ensure that that doesn't get delayed.
So making sure there's a utility bill, getting the right name on the net metering form, and entering the account number and meter number the first time.
Yeah, the name is a big one. Making sure that the same person on the bill is on the contract. Because if it's not, then we'll need a contract re-signed, or they'll have to be added to the bill. Both just delay the process and frustrate everybody.
Got it. Awesome. Well, let's just close it out with a little Q&A for these guys. I have a few final slides to show to the team, but we really appreciate you being here. I did see Solar Lily had a question. The Aptos 400 watt panels, are we completely out? Like if we sold a job 2 weeks ago with them and there's an install in 2 weeks, do we know if those have to be change ordered? Any word on that?
Potentially, yes, they will need change orders. The PMs will have details on what jobs we have. From my understanding, if it is scheduled, if the equipment is already ordered for jobs for April, we should be good to go. So if it's already slated for an April install, we should be okay. Anything outside of that could need a change order. We're expecting more to come in, but I just, we don't know for sure. They give you dates, but who knows if it's exact. So the PM will discuss project specifics, with each sales rep, if a change order is needed.
Yeah, we're expecting to get back, and who knows how many we're going to get, but we're expecting to get a shipment in middle of May and another one middle of the following month. So who knows how many jobs will be good for, but we are expecting to be getting some in.
Yeah, Lexi from Aptos said hopefully late May we'll be getting a lot of shipment for those panels. All right, if you have any last questions, guys, type it in. And Boston, did you have a question? You have your hand raised. Did you want to?
Yes. Yes, my question was, what if you have a PG&E bill and it's a homeowner, it's a rental property, and the tenant has the PG&E bill in their name?
So when they go to submit for interconnection, they have to submit a copy of the signed contract, and the name on the utility bill has to match the contract.
I'd like to jump in there. The contract and the loan can be one person, right? The on title, but the utility bill name, Jen, could be like the mother-in-law or the cousin or the tenant. And so when you request docs, you specifically put the name of the utility bill holder, Boston.
Yes.
Their name and their email, because they're the ones signing the NEM form. That's a totally separate form from the HIC contract and the loan documents. So those can be two separate people. I would just work with a mentor to navigate making sure your documents are signed correctly.
Okay, thank you.
I will just add that we do get them kicked back when the names are not matching, and it is utility specific. So I don't know if we get lucky, but especially as in Nevada and Arizona as well.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks. It was answered.
All right, guys, I don't think we have too much more Q&A at this time. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Brenton and Jennifer, operations and the project managers, the response times, you guys helping out today, texting, calling. We're noticing tremendous, support, way better than last year since we were growing month over month, doubling sales. So a huge thank you to you guys, your team supporting Power Hitters, this community. We're over 508 people strong now. So we truly appreciate all you guys do for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And thank you guys for everything you guys do. Keep those sales coming in. I've noticed a huge pickup within, the past few weeks. So keep killing it out there, guys.
Yeah, overload our PMs. They can take on more work.
Yes. But
Let's
it's
do it.
looking good. It's looking good. So thank you guys.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Jonathan, real quick, did you see that question about the Trina 410s when they're going to be on the solo?
Trina 410s or Aptos 400s. I'm selling the Jinko 375s. I sell whatever the best is we have at the moment. But do you guys have any ETAs on those two?
Last week on the Wednesday training, they mentioned the Trina 410s as well as the 375s.
I'll reach out to procurement and see what they know about it, and then I'll get back to you, Jonathan.
Okay.
You can hand that off to your team.
That would be helpful because I'm working on one. We can't afford to go backwards on efficiency.
Yeah, let me reach out to procurement. They're usually pretty quick, so I'll get back to you guys.
Thanks.
Great. Austin, did you have another question? Or do I need to lower your hand? I think we're good. And then Tammy, just so you know, the 375 Jinko black on black are actually the smaller size panel. So as the Aptos 400s were larger, so you may actually be able to fit more 375s and get a higher offset if you were to use the 375s. So
We tried. It didn't work well on this roof, but yeah, good point.
Yep. Louis, question?
Yes. So typically, what's the process when we're dealing with an HOA? I recently had a project where permits were already approved, and the project manager reached out to me for me to reach out to the HOA and get the HOA application. And when we reached out to the customer because we need her to sign, she was a little upset, saying, "Why did we request permits if we didn't have the HOA approval yet?"
So it is in the homeowner's hands to apply for HOA. That's not something that the PM or the installer does. They can assist, they can help answer questions, help fill out forms, get design plans, things that they need, but it is the homeowner's responsibility to complete the HOA. It's not something generally that the installer or the PM can do. Usually the application needs to come from the homeowner anyways.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, just my advice on that, Louis. In the home improvement agreement, the solar contract, it says homeowner is responsible for the HOA application. So if you guys determine that they do have an HOA, either ask for their HOA contact information when you're signing the deal, or have the homeowner reach out to their HOA. You need to get that HOA application sooner than later. Usually has a homeowner signature, neighbor signature. We fill that in, we send it in with the design plans once they're done, and we can get an approval from the architectural committee within 30 days or so. And yeah, I may have misspoke. Sorry, the 375 Jinkos are also 66L, same as the Aptos 400s. So a little bit larger footprint there.
So I got a reply back on the Trina 410s. They won't be available till September, unfortunately.
Okay. Good. All right. Thank you again, Jennifer and Brenton. Appreciate the support here. We're gonna do a few last announcements before we hop off. So
Thank you,
so
Jonathan.
much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank
All right.
Have a good day, y'all.
All right,
Thank you.
Power Hitters, just a few more things here before we hop off. As I've mentioned before, Powur.live is immersive training starting this month, next month, I believe, $35 a month, quarterly 2-day conventions, monthly 4-hour classes, weekly 1-hour classes. So if you want to take your business training knowledge to the next level, this is a no-brainer, $8 an event here. I would definitely go to powur.live to check out more information and register. And then I always hound on this, the steps to success. It really has everything you could need. Trainings, videos to share, real estate training, marketing materials, how to make a business card, weekly trainings. So if you want this document, shoot me a message or go to johnbernauso.com/power. And if you need anything added to it, we can always add more to it. So great tool to live by and share with any new team members. 12-month free promotion still going on strong for the month of April. So we have 10 days left. Definitely drive the urgency. Share the marketing material in blog.powur.com or in the marketing team Google Drive right here, 12 months of no payments that you can add. It is an adder. You have to add it in solo. So make sure, because that will affect your overall project price. Texas is almost wrapping up here. If you know anyone in El Paso or Houston, this Wednesday, tomorrow, El Paso, good event going on. And then Houston, April 23rd and April 24th, we have more events and training as well. So Charles Thompson, I believe, will be down there in person, taking care of these last 2 or 3 trainings. We will have a California tour coming up soon, by the way. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We'll release a schedule and we can plan to build into those events. Some future events to know, all are on powurcalendar.com. We have a special one this week. But tomorrow, 11 a.m., new consultant launch. If you're newer here, it's always a good refresher. And then tomorrow, consultant training at 12 noon Pacific. And then the 22nd, this Thursday, another CEO call. I can't believe it's been a month already, but Jonathan Budd will do a CEO call, likely from the convention center, the corporate headquarters with the media center, which is awesome. That is this Thursday, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And as always, there's a Q&A on Fridays, again, in powurcalendar.com, 11 a.m. Pacific. So there's literally 1 or 2 trainings every day, guys. Jump on the trainings, ask your questions, watch videos, Powur University. There's just so much to do. And you can, of course, work with a mentor and your leadership and sponsor an upline to answer any additional questions.
Hey, Jonathan, real quick, I might add it's a special CEO because it's Earth Day. Is that correct? April 22nd.
Yes, great reminder. Danny, thank you. Earth Day is this Thursday. And a lot of cities and sustainability groups, and you'll see a lot of stuff online, social media. So get ahead of it, post, share Earth Day, and absolutely, Danny. Jonathan Budd's going to be doing a special session for Earth Day this Thursday. And then wrapping up here, next week we have Aparna Mola. She is with Give Powur, the VP of Give Powur. They build solar water plants across the world, giving clean water to 35,000 people. 10 years ago, she had a referral-based business at Solar City. She's selling hundreds of deals from referrals. She brings the most passion, energy. She had to reschedule on us once, but I'm going to hold her to it next Tuesday. Designing your why, communicating with the customers, and getting more referrals. We will not want to miss this training with Aparna. The week following, we're going to have solarinsure.com. The VP Dean is going to be with us, training us on the best insurance extended coverage in the industry. And some future topics, Solar Edge wants to help train. We'll do some roofing training, some real estate, some lead gen, all on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific. Before I leave us with 2 minutes of Q&A and let you all get back to your day and go sell some deals, I just wanted to share, I usually do, but I was able to help donate with this entire team and the success we've been having, really, this is a Power Hitters donation. We put a solar panel on this home in Ensenada, Mexico. This family was sleeping on a floor. So we built this home about a month ago. And literally in the last week, this family just got a solar panel. Don't worry, you don't need a permit in Mexico. This is not to code in California. But we were able to put a solar panel for this family right here, giving them electricity. They don't even have electricity, guys. And so all the success and things that we're doing, you know, giving back, I want to be part of our culture. And I just think it's so cool to put this electricity on for that family. So let your customers know if you want to be more of a part of it. We can definitely make that happen. So I'll jump off to some Q&A. I'm going to end this recording. Thank you everyone for being here, being present. Thank you, Jarrett, Jennifer Brantley, Brenton, all the leaders. We're going to go and kick some butt this week and look forward to Earth Day on Tuesday. Let's do it.